Hey, Mike.
Hey, what's up, Sean?
It's the end of an era.
It's a little depressing, isn't it?
It's a little depressing. So this is going to be the last
Nerdsense video ever.
in this in this little area.
In this space.
Gotcha. No, yeah, this is going to be the last recording in this particular setup. We're demoing our basement, and we decided that we're going to do spring 2016 Mott the Lesser. It's our last bottle. We figured this was a fitting kind of end of the line of this area. So be on the lookout for the channel update video where we'll kind of go and explain a little bit more. But anyways, want to get into the beer?
I'm down.
Yeah. So for anyone that doesn't know, this is Mott the Lesser from Tributary Brewing. This is a Russian Imperial Stout, 10.5%. It has Todd Mott on the front. Sometimes less is great. So what this beer is well, it's Imperial Stout. It's aged in dark rum, port, bourbon, and apple brandy barrels, and then it's blended. But Portsmouth Brewing up in
Portsmouth.
Thank you. Portsmouth, New Hampshire. They used to make a beer called Kate the Great when Todd was their head brewer, and Kate the Great that brought beer nerds from all over lines waiting for that beer. And then when Todd left Portsmouth to start Tributary, they let him take the recipe with him, but he couldn't take the name. So the story is that Mott the Lesser is the Kate the Great recipe, just kind of revived under the moniker of Mott the Lesser. And we haven't had this beer in at least a few years.
Yeah.
Last bottle, the wax is my doing. I probably should have
Cut it.
Yep. I think I got it. I got it. Ooh, that smells interesting. Still got some carb. I would hope so. So yeah, this beer is probably, if it's spring 2021, this beer is 5 years old.
Yep. And I had such a good time going to get this beer with you.
Oh, that was so fun.
Yeah, those crappy sandwiches from, where the hell did we get the sandwiches from?
The place that was there, right?
Maybe. No, we had food there too, but while we were waiting early.
Oh, yeah. I forget where it was, but no, we had a blast. We went with our buddy Matt, and we picked these up, and then we had a couple pours. We had some of their other stuff. It's up in Kittery, Maine. It's about a little under an hour from me. But yeah, it's a great time. And they're rebrewing it this year. Those that haven't heard that know Tributary, they had an issue with one of the barrels that they're aging this in, so they had to blend, I think, 2015, 2016, and 2017. Well,
the issue was one of the barrels was infected, and then through osmosis, they all got infected.
Oh, right.
Not all, but a lot of it.
Yeah. But anyways,
I mean, yeah, it's Mott. It's black.
Yeah, it's pitch black. You poured pretty aggressively too.
Yeah, the head's not coming up. The beer's 10.5%, and it won't form a head, so
makes sense.
Right.
Want to get a nose?
Let's do it. Wow, that smells really nice. That's very.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Sorry.
So it's very rich, very like port wine and roast and chocolate and fudge.
I think there's a kiss of oxidation in it, but given the time, I guess clearly I didn't wax these well enough. But anyways, but that doesn't really matter because you're right. Everything there, I'm getting a lot of port, a lot of chocolate, and I think the dark rum makes sense. Like there's that kind of dark rum character coming through too.
Some ashiness in there too. Smells good.
Yeah.
Good taste.
Cheers.
Cheers, sir. Pass this prime a little bit, bud.
Yeah. It's sort of like when we had that last bottle of Caravaggio.
Yep.
All the bones of what this beer was, it's still there. I imagine that this is probably aged way better in the kegs that they're going to blend versus the bottles. So
yes,
probably.
of course. Yeah.
It still has there's roastiness. There's a lot of ashiness,
yep.
Tobacco-iness.
Yep.
There's chocolate and stuff like that. there's almost like a vanilla oaky tanniny thing on the back of my palate, but I'm not really getting like a port or a rum barrel. Like I remember this beer being very kind of dark fruity forward and like had a lot of character kind of from the barrel that kind of shine through. But this is based off a couple years of memory. So, but this kind of has more of it's there, but it's sort of muted
with a little bit of wet cardboard.
Yeah. A little bit of wet cardboard.
You can see the greatness that once was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like when you see like your favorite player playing his last season. You're like, well,
yeah,
he's gonna get a base hit every now and then.
Yeah. Or like when like Brett Favre went to the Vikings, like you're like, okay, or like when any quarterback like that is sort of like, I want to keep playing. Like, let's go to another. Okay, let's see how this goes. Yeah. But this is another like thing that, and we said this before, like aging beers is such a
crapshoot.
It's a crapshoot. Like this doesn't have any adjuncts in it, but like 1050. Bourbon County, they say 5 years for those, like just the base Bourbon County, and that makes sense. This is 5 years old, and now you're starting to slowly kind of taper off. So, it's the thing. Like adjuncts, couple of years, maybe not even a couple of years, couple of weeks. Like drink them as fresh as possible. Really, I just completely went full circle and contradicted myself with that statement, but whatever. You know what I was trying to say, though, right?
Yeah.
And then when it comes to this, like core 4 non-adjunct stouts in barrels should age for a while, but sometimes they just don't. Is
the barrel, in the context of the barrel, is that an adjunct?
Oh, that's a whole other conversation, my friend.
Because I feel like, the port comes out of the barrel a little bit, and the wood,
the rum comes out of the barrel. Yeah,
I feel like they are adjuncts.
Yeah, that's a good. Okay, that's a valid point. That's a valid point. I guess if this was not barrel aged, maybe it would have done a little bit better, or it's just because there's clearly oxidation, so clearly oxygen got into the bottle. So, and I didn't wax these until about a year or so ago, so it's definitely been sitting unwaxed for a while.
It's still fine. I'm gonna drink it.
Oh no, it's still very I think we're basic like the way we're kind of talking sounds negative, but it is a very good beer. It's still very drinkable, but it's just not what it was, which it is what it is. It's not a knock on the beer. If you get a hold of Mott the Lesser, get a hold of Mott the Lesser.
Facts.
Definitely facts. But yeah, any final thoughts?
Be careful when aging your beer.
Bingo. What Mike said. Down in the comments, if you had Mott the Lesser, have you had the Spring 2016 Mott the Lesser recently? What do you think of it? Are you going to go grab the new bottles? Let's have a conversation. Have you had Kate the Great? I've never had Kate the Great.
I have not either.
Have you had Kate the Great and Mott the Lesser? What do you think of that? Do you have any Kate the Great left side by sides?
It's funny that I've never had Kate the Great, but man, that beer had a long shadow, didn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I knew about it. I was familiar with it, like conceptually.
Same, but I don't think I was ever really big into beer enough back then when it was there. It's interesting that Portsmouth wanted to keep the name, because like, what do you do with the name?
They feel like that name is their property, and they don't have to let someone else make a profit off of it.
Yeah, I guess that's a valid point, because I'm like, it's not like they're going to be ballsy enough to go ahead and brew an Imperial Stout, throw in some barrels, and call it Kate the Great. Like,
they could though.
That's actually a fact. Yeah, I guess you're right. So,
and maybe they thought they would eventually.
Yeah.
But
yeah, like I said, down in the comments, have you had them compared? What do you think of this compared to Kate the Great back in the day? But yeah, let's have a conversation down in the comments. And nerdsense.net, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Those are your things. Hit those notification bells. Be on the lookout for that channel update video if it's not already posted. If it is, I'll go ahead and link to it here. If I remember, probably won't. And I'm Sean.
I'm Mike.
And this is Nerdsense.